Hey guys, welcome back to episode 4 here of Hollywood Animal. Last episode, we kind of completed out the primary buildings on our lot. We went ahead and did some research for story elements off of our script writing in our script department. We released a movie. We have one in post production, we have one in distribution, and then we also have one in pre production. And I think this episode we're going to try to get another couple of movies at least ready to go. We hired a couple of actors, a couple of producers and directors last episode, and we'll continue down that path. I don't think this episode I want to make as long as some of the others, but we do have additional some additional tech being researched, and so we'll hope to get that completed. We have a couple of tasks up here. We have the daughter of the mayor who wants to be in a movie. We have that to go. We're 200 days left into our lawsuit that we're going to be sued for with regards to the construction company. And I explained in last episode that this gives us time to get that legal representation up, and that's already being researched in the legal from the legal executive in our legal department. So we're going to get probably not going to be able to get the high level of legal representation, but we're going to go ahead and get started here, and we're going to move it fast forward here just a little bit on the timing. We have a movie up here that we are waiting on a producer for. We don't have a producer. We're hoping to get this guy or this guy. We have 8 days left for him and 11 for him, so we'll get that going shortly as soon as one of those gets done. We have a movie here that we're currently in basically our last week of distribution. It's going to be 8 weeks now. We're down to just over 30% on attendance, and it'll be under that as we get into this eighth week. We've cut the screenings down. We're still making some money, so we're going to keep that going for now. And you can see that we're now under $10 million. Okay, so we have another story element that was researched and or found actually, and what we can do is we can have that screenwriter go ahead and do that again. You can see if we do the repeat, he's going to have a 39% chance, but it's going to take 93 days to do that. We're going to let him finish. We're going to see if we've got any scripts that we can get these guys on. So we have an action, adventure, and thriller writer. They're all in-house. We have no action, thriller, or adventure ideas. So we could go to the story workshop if we wanted to do that. And yeah, so this is the ending, week 8. We had only 500 screenings, but we're only at 22% attendance, which is about 100 screenings if my math is right. But I think at this point we're going to go ahead and end the distribution. We're not going to set up some extended distribution on that. And again, we're going to get those points, those reputation points added there. We're going to send this to the archive. And this is the head of security kind of letting us know that the Gernstein brothers tried to lure Peter Harris, but didn't go through. And we're 2 weeks out from our next meeting, our next movie coming out. And this is the police chief coming to us with basically a story idea for a movie, and we can agree to release a film with that kind of an idea. And that idea then goes into story elements in our scripting department. And we can do that within 2 years, or we can release a major movie within a year. The other option is, of course, that we can tell him we're not interested in that kind of an idea. This will gain favor with the police chief, and you will then if we release that movie within 2 years, And then you can have the police chief do some favors for you, maybe protect you for some from some studio raids. You can ask them to maybe raid other studios and that. So we're going to do the film within 2 years. And again, we won't get, there's the story element. So Heroes in Uniform is the story element that we need to incorporate into a movie before that 2 year time period lapses. And we're 2 days away from this movie here that's in post production, going and getting ready. And now we have a new camera technology, and you can see here because we have the technical support, we can go ahead and purchase this equipment. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. It is kind of expensive, but again, once you buy it, you don't have to buy it for additional movies. There is an increase in quality here, and if we had the tech, if we had the engineering department, we could research improving the quality and economy of that particular camera. However, it takes so long to do. By the time you get that done, then the next technology has come out. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to do that, in my opinion. Okay, so our movie lowered a little bit, the quality of our movie. So we went from a 4.7 to a 4.3 and a 3.7 to a 3.3. We do have some experience coming out here for everyone that was involved in the movie. Nobody ranked up, as you saw. And again, this is the movie posters. This has no correlation to how successful the movie will be or how well it will be received or how well it'll do. It's just the movie poster. We're going to select this third one here, tell it go through distribution, and so then we're back on our calendar, right? So we have the Big Easy, which is probably going to be nothing but a 4-week run. But we need 6 weeks for the printing of the movie. So we're going to apply the, oh, wait a minute. We didn't do, can I go back? I don't think I can go back. I didn't put it in any, I didn't put it in any theaters. That's not good. That is not good at all. There's no way to get it into theaters either. It doesn't look like. Oh, okay. We have to do this one without ads because we don't have a promotion office yet. So we have to do this one without ads. But the problem is I don't have, well, I have to do it without advertising, but here we go. Change. Okay, so we're going to get this out into our movie theaters. We have to do no ads because we don't have a promotions department as of yet. So we've got research going on that. And we're going to do that. Okay, so now we should be good. Yeah, there's no advertising because we don't have a promotions office. Okay. Just checking that once again. And so this is going to be 8 days before this one was released. This one's going to be another 40 days before this is released, but our producer should now be available. And he is, we see, and now we have some actors here that we can get into this movie here. So we have a cowboy, a sidekick, and a criminal mastermind. And something I haven't mentioned up until this point, keep in mind now, so there's a couple of things here. First is the genre. This is the most recent genre that this actor has worked in. This is also the roles that they had most recently worked in. So you can see here, this guy's played a cowboy here recently. We're going to put him back in that same role. And then a sidekick, we're going to use him. And then the criminal mastermind, we're going to put him in here. He hasn't necessarily been a criminal mastermind recently, it doesn't look like. However, we don't need to have somebody else in there so that we can maybe get another movie made. This is not necessarily a real good movie here, but we want to get something started. Like I mentioned before, we have to have continuous things flowing into the pipeline in order to keep making money for the studio. So I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to write and since we need one with heroes in uniform, the blue line, let's see here, how about this? The real heroes is what we'll call it. It's going to be, let's say, action drama. And we're going to put it in a modern American city. And the antagonist is going to be, let's say, a murderer. Supporting character, sidekick theme. So we want heroes in uniform. And so up here, we've got 4 of our 6 slots already filled. We do have the ability to get another 5th slot before our finale. So let's maybe do shootout, and the finality is that the antagonist gets killed or gets punished. Let's do this. Okay, and so we're going to select the action writer, and we're going to get him going on that. And since we don't have... Okay, so this is going to be the release of the Big Easy. That's the kind of bad movie that we had. Shards of the Sword. Okay, so this is the release of the Big Easy. We didn't get very good marks here from the Kino Mark, and all 1 stars from the reviewers. Not a lot of experience going forward with most of these folks. The producer did gain a new level, however, so that producer is now a 3rd, and this actor gained a new level. And that was the printing costs of the movie, and that's the reason why I mentioned in last episode it's so important to get that film lab, because we would save potentially at least $9,000 on film printing too. So we have one here that's in distribution. We've got one getting ready. We've got one being written. We could probably use another one to be written, an adventure or a thriller. Let's go to the story workshop. We'll do an adventure maybe. Let's call it Adventure Time. I know that's a take on a children's show. All right, so we're going to do primarily adventure. There's going to be some action, obviously, in it, but we're primarily doing an adventure. And for this one, we can open it up a little further. In fact, what we're going to do, since it is an adventure movie, we're going to maybe do Fantasy Kingdom this time around. And Knight and the antagonist maybe is an evil monster this time. We're going to hold off maybe on supporting characters. So we're going to include maybe a jousting tournament, maybe a treasure hunt. I don't know that we have, an ancient puzzle, and then what we're going to do, finds treasure, I think is probably what we're going to do there. And so now we've filled 6 of 6, right, of our slots. And we're going to have an adventure story here. So we're going to have the adventure writer write that story. So we have a couple scripts now in play, and we'll speed this up. So it does look like we had 100% attendance the first week, which is a little surprising. So we made some decent money here. We're still under for our budget there for the movie, for what it cost us to make. So our script department now upgraded to 7 story elements in the workshop. So we can increase that to 8. We can develop story elements faster. We can have them search for story elements faster. We can have them do story elements by category. We can also get a freelance writer's office. But I think the first thing we're going to do is, well, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to increase the writer's speed in which they write a story, and that's going to take almost a year to get done. So okay, and so we're now making money on this movie. Wow. Okay, so second week we did drop a little bit, but 97%, that's still pretty good, surprisingly, for such a bad movie. So this bad movie is actually going to end up making us money here. We've got another movie getting ready to go into production, and it is now ready to go into production. Let's see if anything improved on this particular movie. We went from a 3.0, it bumped it up quite a bit, actually. On both pieces of ratings there, it bumped it up quite a bit, surprisingly. So he gets a little bit of a boost there, the head of pre-production. That's the reason why we increased it so much, because we hit on every aspect of that. We're going to assign a security officer to that production, security personnel to that production. This is talking about, prohibition coming and anti-prohibition parade and stuff. Looks like one of the actors was a organizer of the parade and that. So okay, so we really dropped off on this this third week here. Only about 60% of the seats filled, but that said, we're still doing pretty well on this movie with regards to profit wise. So 60%, we're looking at just over just about 1,000 screenings would have been filled. So this one's going to be even worse. This one's going to be probably in the 30% range, somewhere like that. And we have a delay on the movie set on this one here. So the horse that was trained for the film can't stand the lead actor. So we can find another horse. It's going to cost us $500. It's also going to stop the filming for 3 days. We can find another way to deal with the horse, and the filming will be 50% slower for 15 days, or we can remove the horse riding from the script, but that's going to, and this is due to the fact that we have those line edits. I mentioned earlier we were doing line edit research, and this is what allows us to do that. It will lower the quality of the film, which we probably don't want. So I think at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and find another horse. It's only going to cost us $500 and a few days, rather than 50% slower over 15 days. And we're going to, okay, so I was wrong. I said it was going to be in the 30s, and it's in the 40s. We have another movie that is set to come online in just another couple of days here. And I don't know that we really need to extend the distribution of this 2.4 and 1.6 movie. We did make 58,000 this week. Chances are we'll probably make half of that the following week, and it typically goes down by at least half each week. So on another 4 weeks, we probably would not end up making a whole lot of money. So we're going to go ahead and it made $250,000 profit. So we're going to go ahead and call that one done. Another week goes by and we'll have another movie here. Okay, so the secret was finally suppressed and it burns up like that. You see that, and now it's green. There is no secret anymore. We can see here there are no secrets, so we're not holding any secrets back, so we don't need to worry about having another secret leaking out. The sets and props department was just researched, so we'll need to build that building. And then what we can do is we can either choose to do high quality costumes and props or high quality sets. They're both going to be about the same amount of time. Either one is 500 days. So if we choose, we can do that. We can also choose to do a scouting office, which will allow us to potentially get better locations when we're doing not something on the sound stage, and that's a 400-day upgrade. And I think what we're going to do here, we're going to do that. It's going to cost us all of our influence points to drop it down by almost 40 days. But we're going to upgrade that. The other thing is you get these influence points every month. So we're going to release this film. It's a little better film than the last one. We can see here, gave us a C on it. And we're seeing some 2 stars instead of just all 1 stars down the line. Just a couple. Experience was a little better on this one for everybody. So this producer has maxed out that, and we kind of went over that last episode, but basically they can't get any more experience because they're at their maximum level. This screenwriter, our screenwriter actually increased to a level 4 screenwriter, so that's pretty good. And we have now an indication over here that we have a new building available, and it's the sets and props department. We're going to go ahead and get that built. Big old building here. And again, we're going to choose this mid-level. And you can see we're still at 9 million basically in the bank in our account. Okay, the first week, this one for some reason we didn't have any ads, and that's why. We didn't have any ads. Okay, so this person was beaten by another rival studio. Okay, so since we didn't have, and we were told about that, since we didn't have protection on him, this is why we didn't get ads, because our marketing and research building wasn't built. So we're going to build that too. So we should have had someone on the protection order for him. So we have 15 days left on this request here from one of our actors that we need to get the medium level. And we've got a new microphone technology, new sound technology. So we're going to buy that as well. So any movies from here out that we have are going to use the new video and sound technology that we've recently purchased. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and do the landscaping change, and you'll see a sweep come over the grounds. You can kind of see it fanning out now. Added a little bit more grass to the area. And he's sending his thanks now. So it increased his favorability, his happiness, as well as his loyalty to us. So this script we just wrote, the real heroes with the heroes in uniform element to it. Actually, it turned out to be a pretty good script. So we're going to get this going, and the screenwriter got a lot of experience for that. We're going to go ahead and start this project. This is a pretty good film here, so we want to have a pretty good. Let's do him. I'm going to put it on the big sound stage. We've got city streets, city interiors, movie theater. So we don't have a sets and props department, so we can't get a level 2 on our internal set, and we don't have a scouting office yet, so we can't get a level 2 on the location quality either yet. This will be the first one we're doing with the new film and the new sound. I'm going to give them some extras and plenty of crew. So this is where we're probably going to have to hire a different producer, because we don't have anyone in our employment that is anywhere near the level of this film. So we're going to need to come out and get another producer. And we're looking again, we'd like to look for something at least a 4 or higher. This guy here is pretty good. And actually, what we'll do this time around, I mentioned in the past, I usually like to get them for movies, but what I'll do this time around is I'll get them for the time, and we'll see if we're able to get him into more than just 3 movies in those 3 years. So we're signing him on, and he's going to be the producer. We'll need a director as well, but we have this guy here who's with us for a little while, so we'll use him. I'd like to get another actor that meets at least a 5.0. So let's take a look here and see what we have. We don't have. So here's a 6. So we're going to get him because he is really cheap, especially for 1 movie. Again, I'm going to do it for 3 movies, because 3 movies is not a cost. Doesn't triple off of the single movie price, right? And we're going to go with him as well, because he's. So, see, for 1 movie, it's 103, and at 3 movies, it's not 309, right? So, we're already getting a discount. So that's the reason why I usually do movies. And like I said, we're not going to be able, I don't think, to get these guys into more than a couple of movies a year. Okay, and so we're going to need a murderer too. But the murderer we can have be this guy. Actually, let's go with the other guy. Let's go this guy. He has. So this one's going to take about 113 days to complete. And yeah, week 3 didn't do so well here. Week 3 was under 30%, only about 50K. So we're probably going to be looking at the low 20s on this 4th week, and probably about 25K here we can extend this one if we want, just simply because of the fact that we have no other movies ready, nothing in the pipeline. So we can probably extend that, and we won't cause too many problems with in order, and that will allow us to potentially, and I say potentially, turn a profit on that movie. So, okay, so it was a little less than the low 20s. It was in the high teens, 26,000. So realistically, I would expect, and again, so now we're really, you're looking at maybe 200 screenings on the next distribution, and probably only about 13 to 15,000 that we're going to make. But since we have no other movies in the pipeline, we are going to do this. And later game, what you can do also is that other companies will potentially rent out your other movie studios may rent out your theaters for showing of their movies, which provides a little money as well. Because we don't have the theater management building set up yet. So if you build the theater management building, that's where that comes into play. And we'll talk when that becomes available. We'll talk about that. Okay, so we have the marketing and outreach being built. That's another 18 days away. We're 8 days away from this other movie being written. Our props and sets and props departments getting built. We've got a movie in pre-production here. So we're moving along pretty well here. We're going to see if we've got any other script ideas. Okay, so we do have a couple of adventure stories, but we have our adventure writer already writing a story. And as soon as he's done with that story, we'll get him on another story so that we can get, like I mentioned, get this pipeline going. We have to have something going. Okay, so he just finished Adventure Time. So that's really good script. 6 out of 6, 5.5 out of 6. So we're gonna produce this right away. And he got a pretty good amount of experience for that one. The only thing is, I'm gonna hold off actually just a little bit. So this is one of our actors asking to be, basically allowing them to go on vacation for 3 months. We're probably not going to have her in that particular movie that we're waiting on, and I'll tell you in just a minute what we're waiting on for this movie here. So we're going to let her go to do that. We're waiting on this up here to be built, because if we have the sets and props department built, then we're going to be able to, anything that we're going to film in the sound stage, we're going to get better quality on. So that's what we're going to want to do. So we're going to want to wait until the sets and props department is done before we set out the plan for that movie. Okay, so this screenwriter wants to go on a break for 2 months so he can improve his health. We're going to let him do that. So you saw his scores increased there. His loyalty score as well as his happiness score increased. And okay, so on 175 screens, we were at 86%. So we actually made almost half of what week 4 was, like I said. We got a little better here in week 6 because we hit 100%, although it was only 100 screenings, but we made 9,200. I suspect we're going to make, we're cutting it down again, so we might be 40s or 50% maybe. And if you take 50% off of that, you're looking at what, $4,500. So we're still not going to, by the end of this entire run, we're still not going to make a profit on that movie. It won't be profitable. However, we won't have lost a whole lot of money on it. And so now our agent training research is complete. And this is where we can train them to do different things. First thing I think we want to do is we don't have a whole lot of ability to speed this upgrade up. So we're not going to. We're going to just leave it go at 150 days. That's going to be our defensive operations. That's going to be the protection for the actors and that kind of thing. So our marketing and research or marketing and outreach department is complete. We're still in week 7 here. Another one of our actresses wants to go on vacation. That's not a problem. She's a 3-1. We're not going to get her into a 6-0 movie. This one's ready to go, so we're going to get this one set. Spent a little money in pre-production, and we took it from a 5 to a 6-1. That's pretty good. And a 4-1 to a 4-7. That's pretty good as well. We're getting pretty close here to the end of the episode here, but I want to get these 2 movies at least started before we end. Okay, so we're still at 100%. We did make, but we can see, we're decreasing these screenings, and as we decrease these screenings, obviously this money is not going to stay the same. So even if we would have had it at 75 theaters, and if we would have had 100% attendance again for week 8, we still wouldn't turn a profit with this movie. It still would come up in the red. I will say that is not that bad though. And we've got, I want to make sure we get this built for this episode, as well as getting this basically into production. Yeah, so it dropped off pretty well there on that last one. It was again about half though, and we can see we could extend it one more week, but why have it in 50 screens and then 25 and then almost none? So we're going to end it there. So here we can see an unprofitable film took 30. Now when we get a profitable movie, we only get 15 in reputation. We don't get 30. So when it's a unprofitable movie, we lose more than we gain for a profitable movie. Okay, we still need to release a movie with the mayor's daughter in it. Okay, so here's our sets and props department. We've got that built, so now we can do sets and props, and we're going to do that here in just a second. This is our lawsuit that they have going with us, right? We haven't spent any money because Luxta, remember, when we're building things, Luxta is the one that is the least expensive, least quality. So we're not spending the money there. But what we are doing is we're researching high-level legal protection. That's not going to be done by the time this lawsuit goes into play, but we'll already have legal representation, some mid-level legal representation. Okay, let's get this movie going here. We're going to give it to that guy there. We're going to that's not the bigger of the 2 sound stages. I don't know if that's going to work. It is not. All right, so we're going to wait 73 more days for that one, I think. In the meantime, then, maybe what we need to do first, we're going to get another adventure movie written, I think. And then I want to get another project started. So he's perfect fit for that one. It's that. These are all exterior shots, all on site. Going to use the new film technology. It is a little pricier to use, but it's worth it. So this is where now we have a change here, right? Before we didn't have this change to go from low to medium. So we have that change now with the props department and the sets that we just made, the building we just built, and that producer, that director. 36 days before we have some additional actors we can use. Although we only need, there we go. All right, so we don't need any other actors. Everybody's on site. This one's going to take a little while to do as well, but now we've got some movies in the pipeline here. We've got a couple of movies here that are currently being filmed. We had a problem here. Thanks to chronic kidney problems and terrible abdominal pain, he's looking like a walking corpse. He's on the mend, but at present the actor can't perform his role convenience. Okay, so we can keep shooting as he is. It's going to lower the film quality. We can fix the script to explain away his sickness. Again, this is the rolling edits that I mentioned. We can wait until he recovers. Filming will stop for 10 days. This doesn't do anything to us with regards to lower film quality or film stopping or anything. So that's what we're going to do. And it's still back to filming at this point. And we're getting pretty long in this episode. So I think we're going to stop here. Again, this is a couple of episodes in now on something new that I've been trying. I would appreciate a like and subscribe. Comment below if you like or don't like this game, like or don't like my presentation of the game, what have you. Please go ahead and comment. And there's some of our influence points that we just accrued. I don't know if you saw that or not, but some of our influence points there just accrued. This is going to do it for this episode. Thanks again for watching. Again, please like and subscribe. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.